It is tethered. It is tethered. Okay, wirelessly. Okay, this is the lens. All right. And it's tethered wirelessly via
But I was in
by air direct.
mics that comes with
It's
Good afternoon, everybody. This is your boy Lemuel, hashtag Lemdrops. I have not been here for the past 6 weeks because of certain health situations with myself and my family. In fact, last week, it was my first time being able to really move around. I had COVID the week and a half before. For about a week and a half, I was struggling with fevers and just lack of strength and night sweats and cough and just horribleness. But I am coming back at this game called content creation with a little bit more pep in my step, and taking this moment to just reintroduce myself to the world. I am Lemuel. I'm a pastor, actually. I also am provider of content creation and tutelage when it comes to lighting, cameras, and gear, as well as how to present yourself live online, and also an Amazon live content creator influencer. Only providing live on the Amazon app. So I am in that space where you are wanting to kind of know what's up, what's going on, and how to become better in your live streaming imagery. Content creation is obviously a personal thing, and today is International Content Creators Day, established by our friends from TubeBuddy. So congratulations on that. This is actually an official day of when YouTube launched its first video, and that's the reason why the 23rd is chosen, or has been chosen, to be International Content Creators Day. So if you are a content creator and you are actually providing and producing content, I want to say hello and thank you for allowing me to be a part of your space and to be a part of that community. I'm new to the content creation space in the way that YouTube provides it. I've obviously been providing content as a preacher since I was 22 years old, or even younger, since I was a youth leader before then. So I've been providing content for a long time, but not in this space, not in this more of edited, curated space where the audience really drives, hopefully, your content more than anything else. So for me, International Content Creation Day is not just about the content creators who are creating content for their spaces, but it is the audiences that subscribe and that follow and that like and share the content. So firstly, for my 211 subscribers, I want to appreciate you guys for just taking the time to actually honor me with your time and the valuable subscription that you have done for me. And I appreciate those of you that watch me. I know I have not been live, like I said, in a minute. And so this is fairly new in the past 6 weeks, but I am coming back, and I want to just share with you some of the schedules that we're looking to restart or reignite. Coming on Monday evenings at 8 p.m. Around that time, I am going to continue my series called Unpacking, where we unpack thoughts, concept, ideas, and, questions that people may have concerning the world that we live in, concerning society, and maybe certain things that I'm interested in, like business and content creation and all those things. So those are unpacking. The idea about unpacking is really kind of unpacking, or it's like a lot of people use luggage language and luggage thoughts. And so in that time frame, we try to unpack these thoughts. And I come in not necessarily giving my opinion about things, but rather bringing in people and unpacking their opinion about the things that are happening. Actually, I started unpacking the week before the George Floyd murder. In fact, that Monday evening, prior to that Tuesday morning, was actually my first unpacking concerning Ahmaud Arbery. And for those of you that do not know, Ahmaud Arbery was a young black man who was jogging in the place in Georgia, and a father and son, a white man and his son, accosted him and prevented him from jogging, so much so that they actually killed him in the process. And I had brothers that were black and also sisters, and I was the only one that was non-black in that conversation. Go ahead and take a look at that. That was from last year. I believe it happens to be April 23rd, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's actually an anniversary of sorts today for me, for that unpacking episode. And that launched a few months of conversations about racial inequality, racial justice, about police brutality, about churches and our role in reconciling the races, if there is such a thing. And I was the only Filipino in predominantly black and white panels. And I'm very proud of what I was doing, because a lot of times Asians like myself or Filipinos like myself find ourselves apart from the conversation. We don't feel like we are involved in that conversation because, hey, we're neither black nor white. And we're just kind of living here, a kind of an observation. But I realize that it's not necessarily just about the conversation about police brutality and the disenfranchisement of the black community and the injustice that was happening against them. That it's actually a conversation about humanity, and it's anybody that the authority or those that are the default of society chooses to downplay or disparage or demean and devalue people that are not like them. And so that reflects on me. I'm one of those people. I'm not the default in society. I am not the default race in society. I'm a minority of a minority. And so should that gavel or should that injustice pivot to my end, which later on it did, right? With the Asian hate that began to be spurred out with, somebody in Georgia, Atlanta, taking the life of several Asians in a beauty parlor. The conversation could be said that it's not the conversation for people, but in reality, it's all our conversation. I believe that we ought to be all concerned about injustice. We all should be concerned about righteousness. We all should be concerned about the use of force against people that do not have the capacity to fight back, or use of force by folks that are not supposed to be using it against us, that they are peacemakers or supposed to be the law bearers, and they are abusing that authority and that power against people that are not like them. And so for me, thank you, Joseph. Appreciate you coming in. So for me, it is a matter of humanity. The conversation is not a matter of black and white. For me, it is a matter of the conversation of humanity. And it is a conversation that I should have as an Asian man, as a Filipino man. For me, I believe that the fight of the black Americans back in the 60s, the civil rights movement that happened without necessarily my community being represented, was a fight for me. I believe that justice for the black man is a justice for the common man, is justice for the man that is not the default. If you understand what I'm saying. The default of American society is the white man. That's the default. And as default, sometimes you have privileges that others do not have. You have privilege that you don't even know that you have, because you're the default, because that's the setting. You know, and because that's the setting that you are accepted by everybody else, even those of us that are not the default. We accept you because you're the default. Much like back in the day when Mac was not yet available, and when iOS devices were not yet available, when Apple was not yet available. The only default was the Windows. You know, the Windows operation. Oh, Angelo, my bad. So the default, right, was Windows, and I had to appreciate it. It had its flaws. It had its terrible hacking capacity. It was not the best, but it's what we had, and so we had to use it. We had to embrace it. We had to accept it. We had to believe that it was the best because there was nothing else. You know, so in our society, when the default is there, and that default is the white man, you just accept it. You feel like it's the best. You feel like, you know, it doesn't do any wrong. But when you realize that it does wrong, and it's not always right, and there are privileges that are presented in the default that you do not have, and then the default fights against you, it makes it a terrible precedent, and you need to stand up with those that are fighting against those bad things. And so it's like an anniversary of sorts for me, because I entered into the content creation talking about and interviewing people of color that were struggling, and that were under the brunt of injustice. At least the community was under the brunt of injustice, and even though I was the only lone Filipino, lone Asian in the conversation, I certainly needed to be there, and so that was what happened back in the day. So I'm going to continue the unpacking episode, hopefully, talking about kind of like the same things. You know, it's been a year, and that would be a good conversation to have. So I'll probably find myself some of the guests that I had before, and have these conversations all over again, because obviously the conversation has not shifted. It's still kind of the same problems. We're still seeing the same issues. We're still seeing the same type of bullying and the same type of misuse of authority and force against people that you know, that are by the folks that are perpetrating these kinds of evil, are viewed as less than them. And so the conversation needs to continue to be had, because humanity requires conversation of equity and justice. And then Tuesday we'll come back with a conversation on deep dives on Amazon Live, and then Thursday we'll be doing other things. So I'll be back, y'all, and just want to greet everybody with a happy International Creators Day. Until next time, I'll see you guys this coming Monday at 8 p.m. for Unpacking. Peace, y'all. Let me bring back my my little chap shop. Talk to you guys later.
We're live.
It is tethered. Okay, wirelessly. Okay, this is the lens. All right. And it's tethered wirelessly via
Yeah, but I was able to
live
air direct
stereo
mics that comes with